All right, so welcome back to another episode of the Barron Report. This, of course, is our special series on the coronavirus and the impact on the restaurant industry. And of course, as you guys know, we have been covering this nonstop really since about early March on what could and is now happening within the restaurant industry. Of course, Seattle has been one of the epicenters that we've covered. We've had both the Washington State Restaurant Association, along with several operators from Seattle. And today joining me from Seattle, Mark Canlis, the co-owner of Canlis. It's one of the best and most renowned fine dining restaurants in Seattle. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So Mark, obviously things have changed in Seattle for the fine dining restaurant operator. Talk to our audience a little bit about what you guys have done in terms of adapting to the situation, some of the innovations that you've taken to kind of still keep your business going.
Sure. So the goal here obviously was to keep people employed for as long and as safely as we could. Several weeks ago, we made the what seemed like a difficult call at the time to shut the restaurant down. Now that seems like pretty standard measure, but we switched from being a fine dining restaurant to opening a drive-through, a pop-up bagel shed, and a home delivery service that also does CSA boxes. So just a move there to figure out ways that we could continue to feed people and continue to employ our own team.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about, so the shift from fine dining to drive-through, obviously there's some technology needed there. Were you using the Canlis site operations for the drive-through?
Do you know, we've worked with some guys at Talk, the website that we used to take reservations through. They were incredible in getting this thing up and going virtually overnight and switching their own platform from reservations to reservations and delivery. They've made that available to restaurants across the country, and it's just made this switch so much easier for us. So kind of armed with that technology, we were able to go from 150 guests on the dining room floor every night to delivering upwards of 600 to 800 meals, and obviously that allows our kitchen to keep cooking. That allows my servers to be, instead of serving tables, just hopping in their car and delivering dinner to a doorstep. So that technology is great.
So are you doing delivery yourself as well?
Yeah, I haven't made a run yet. It's been kind of busy around here, but I've had a chef made a couple deliveries on Friday in order to keep the piano players employed. We've been live streaming some of them every night, and then others have been delivering, which is kind of fun. Just about everybody has hopped in a car in order to get these things around the city. So we're looking to expand our ability to deliver. This is just a new business for us, and we're
for sure
about it.
So in moving to this, so some of the fine dining, upscale, casual dining operations, full service, in moving to delivery, the logistics, there are some logistics company, you obviously mentioned Talk, but has it been a shift for your employees to essentially kind of understand that whole model of how delivery is working? What have been some of the challenges that you faced?
I think what's interesting about this time right now, yes, sure, it's a shift, but at this stage, everyone is just appreciative to have a job. And it's a team that has, we made this an entirely voluntary operation. We said if it doesn't work for you, if this is unnecessary risk for you, please don't sign up. But if you want to be a part of what we're doing, then let's do this. We've had all of our staff sign up for it. And I think that just shows the willingness of the human spirit right now to sort of endure, to fight back against this thing. It shows that people are willing to be resilient and be creative and do whatever it takes to move through this pandemic one day at a time. So yeah, for sure. Very different for us. It's one of the hardest things we've ever done. And yet at the same time, there's a spirit of hope and of energy around this place that there's something magic about bringing good news and bringing a warm meal to somebody. And and it is not only blessing them, but it's blessing us as well.
Yeah, for sure. The decision to make the move to multiple different formats, with drive-through, the bagel shack, what was the idea there of being able to look at going with some different options?
We are just one restaurant, but we have 115 employees. often joke that this is a model of inefficiency. All we did with 115 employees was serve 6 dinners a week. In order to keep them employed, we needed multiple ways to do that. So
Yeah.
burgers from 11 to 3 was one way, dinners at night and CSA boxes, bagels in the morning. It was just as many creative outlets as we could to have all of them gainfully employed, and doing so in a way that we felt was safe. And so right now we've switched that. We've actually ceased the drive-through, which was wildly popular, a little bit too much so, in order for us to do it in a way that we felt comfortable with. And so shifted from the drive-through operations just to more delivery, which is really the easiest and safest way for us to be working.
All right, so Mark, let's talk a little bit about another option that we've seen some operators taking throughout the country, and that is moving into the actual grocery packaging business, meaning taking your farmers and your suppliers and putting that into uncooked and unprepped. Have you guys considered any of those kind of options?
We have. So we're doing what CSA boxes essentially. We're taking ingredients that we would normally use for our fine dining restaurant and packaging them up in community supported agriculture boxes. So in this
Okay, all right.
We're able to get 30 or 40 farms to still be harvesting things that are in the field right now, and moving those into the homes of people who are, either don't want to go to the grocery store for health reasons, or would just prefer to be buying from those types of small family farms. And so it's been hugely successful and popular. We need to figure out a way to scale that up. But there are so many farms right now that are struggling, and everyone wants to talk about the restaurants, of course, right now. But further down the line, you have all of these farmers who have been supplying these restaurants. And so anyway,
exactly.
That moving is great.
Yeah, I like that in the sense that, especially when the localized, because we've been covering this for years about localized farmers really kind of making a comeback. Obviously, the supply chain, whether you look at big business or you look at down to the small level, I think what you guys are doing is really innovative. I'm kind of curious, do you feel like this is something that post-coronavirus, post-pandemic, could shift the way that you run your food business operation, or would this be something that you say, hey, no, we're just going to kind of flip back to our full service dining roots?
We will go back to our full service dining roots, but the answer to your question is yes. I hope it shifts the way that we operate. I hope it shifts the way the whole restaurant industry operates. And I think, though this is a devastating time for our industry and for our people, there's also an opportunity there to take a good hard look at the way that we feed the nation and the way that we as a country eat, and collectively say, hey, I bet there's a better way to do this. So
right.
No one would have wished that it came upon us in this way, but the truth of the matter is tonight you have more families eating around the table with one another than they already ever have before. And I think we have an opportunity here to really take inventory and of how we feed one another, and that can be led by the restaurant industry. Then so be it. That's our new charge, and that's what we need to do. So that starts with taking care of one another, taking care of our employees, and building a business model that works. I don't think things will be the same after this, and I'm hoping that we can be wise about moving forward. This is an opportunity to rebuild from scratch a little bit, and I think it's better than we had it before.
We had a chance to talk to a few experts on this very topic, and I think they were in agreement is that the restaurant industry has forever changed. The models that come out of this are going to be pretty innovative and hopefully in some way change the format of everything we've been trying to do. What we thought would have taken us a decade may now, in fact, take us just a year to get to that point.
Right. No, I definitely think, there's an opportunity for that. And whether that is, look, there's a really good chance that we come out on the other side of this remembering how alike we all are, and there's a very good chance that we eat differently, and so I who knows what comes of that, but I feel like while at the same time we're licking our wounds a little bit and trying to understand how to proceed forward, there's a piece of us out here in Seattle that is saying, look, this is an opportunity for good, and how can we fight for those things? So those are the stories that are going to begin to emerge here, and those are the ones that are
Right.
captivating us, and those are the people that are inspiring us. So
Yeah,
I want to be a part of
for
that.
sure. Let's talk a little bit about the community there in Seattle. Obviously, we've had continued reports from Seattle, which was once the epicenter here of the nation. How are things in the community itself?
Seattle is a scrappy, pioneering town. I think this has taken us back to our roots a little bit. I think we had the wind knocked out of us a little bit, and as the first city to get it in this country, we were not prepared. And yet, I think the response as of late has been so much stronger. We're seeing our government and our leadership step up in ways that are indicative of people rising to the occasion, and
Right.
seeing that out of the small business community, out of the independent little companies that kind of make up the fabric of this city and of this nation. And so while the federal government has now, with the CARES Act, trying to assist, and that has still some figuring out to do, I think the heart of this country is looking to your right and left and saying, okay, what can I do to help, and how do I get this thing going? What do I have? What resources do I have that I can put into play here? And
Yeah.
the rules are all different. That doesn't mean the game is up. And so I think there's a lot that we can all do. And even while we are reeling from and recovering from a devastating situation.
Yeah, for sure. What about the your fellow business owners there in Seattle, restaurant operators? I know Tom Douglas, of course, chose to shut down all of his restaurants, with I think exception of one. What are you seeing there? I talked to Jen over at Bremer and Heel Tap. So what's kind of been the community of the chefs and the operators? What do you think is going to happen for Seattle in the future there?
Again, this thing caught us on our heels a little bit, and we weren't ready for it. And so I think as a city, we have borne the brunt, and I hope that the rest of the country is learning a little bit from our unpreparedness. And what I'm seeing across the nation right now are restaurants that are a little bit more taking proactive steps to be prepared for this thing. So setting delivery steps in place, figuring out ways to support their farms and push those ingredients into the homes, into the families. Seattle will be maybe a step behind that because we were not as prepared, and yet already you're hearing of these remarkable stories of restaurants all around us who are figuring out ways to feed those most in need, take care of their staff, and sort of get back on their feet in this way. It's not happened yet. I think we're months away from that happening, but I think the spirit of the city is one that says we can do this. We got this, and that is a message of enduring hope. Give the human spirit a chance and let it fight back a little bit. And I think you're going to see that more and more out of this town and out of this country in the days ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of curious, Mark, we've been tracking the Great American Takeout. Did you guys participate in that? And if so, how did it work?
We did not. So it's not something I can speak to. It didn't make sense for us at the time, and we were kind of completely overwhelmed with other things that were going on.
Yeah, I understand.
It's probably not.
Yeah, pretty great. Well, it's great to get a report from you. Congratulations on your fast thinking and initiatives of being able to kind of stay fluid in the restaurant industry. I think it's kind of born in most restaurant operators, but at this level of what's coming at us, it's interesting to watch some of the operators really excel. So congratulations.
It's a privilege to be open, and we're going to do everything we can. So thanks for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so all of you guys listening in, maybe you're tuning in over on YouTube, make sure and subscribe to the channel. That's how we get great content out in front of you. And of course, ring the bell, because that's going to give you notifications of new content. And we are hitting a ton of new content. If you're listening over on the podcast, maybe you're on iTunes or over on Spotify, make sure and drop us a note, give us some feedback on what you like about what we're covering right now. And lastly, if you have an operator that is like Mark, right there at Canlis in Seattle, doing something amazing, send us a note to producer@foodabletv.com. We'll make sure and get them on the show. Take care out there. We'll catch you next time.